Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. So you just got done with shooting your brand new Ruger-57. You put hundreds of rounds through her. She's a blast to shoot, and now it's time to learn how to clean her and keep her well maintained. So let's dive in on what you'll need to get this job done, and let's get some cleaning in. So first thing you'll need, of course, is a Ruger-57 that is ready to be cleaned, and then all this other stuff we'll talk about briefly here can be found on Amazon. Links will be down in the description below. Some of it's crucial, some of it's optional, up to you to decide. So over here we have some plastic polymer tipped-in picks, good to get into kind of the crevices of the firearm and the slide. You have a typical pistol cleaning push rod. Right here it does have the ability to spin, so it can follow the grooves inside your barrel. All right, along the rifling, you'll need a little hook right here that goes on the end of the pistol cleaning rod. You will need a smaller 22 caliber sized little nylon or brass cleaning brush that is designed to go through the barrel and clean out the grooves. You may opt to use some gloves, keep those hands clean, because the oil, whichever one you choose to use, is not very pleasant when it sits on your hands for a couple of days. I choose this mil-spec CLP break free. You can get in these little bottles here or buy it in a larger bottle and just keep refilling these, or little cheap squirt bottles. You'll need some patches like this designed for much smaller handguns. This, of course, being a 5.7, has a much smaller diameter barrel than most other firearms. Think kind of 22 size. So you don't want to go much bigger than these that are designed for 9mm. In fact, you can probably cut them in half, go that route, save a little bit of patches to get down there. But 9mm kind of works for typical any kind of firearm you have. And this is a good size right here. Now for this job, I would actually recommend, and it might make your job a lot easier, is a little 22 or 223 caliber bore snake. All right, I'll show you how this works. It's a lot easier to use and clean the inside of the barrel out than a push rod with such a narrow barrel. So we'll show you guys how this works as well. It's also great for ARs if you have that. So let's go ahead, get her disassembled, start cleaning. So disassembly of your Ruger-57. First, drop the mag, make sure there's nothing in the magazine. Check the chamber, check it again, make sure there's absolutely nothing in there. All right, then what you want to do, lock your slide back. All you have to do, go ahead, pull the slide back, push the slide lever up. All right, now over here you have a push button which activates the takedown lever right here, but there's a nice hole in there which is not very fun on your fingers. So I typically grab the back of the base plate of the magazine. All right, push it through like that. Go over here, make sure that lever is all the way out, and flip her down like that. Slowly let the slide go. Now she's going to go a little bit forward, but not all the way, and you're going to simply lift her off like that. Now your frame is all dirtied up. You can see all that in there. It needs to be cleaned up. Slide, go ahead, back to front, grab this spring. There's not a lot of pressure on there. Don't worry about that. Barrel, slide. You're fully disassembled, ready to be cleaned. So CLP is an all-in-one type cleaner, works really well. If you want to use something else, you can use like Hops No. 9 solvent to kind of help do a little bit more of a deeper clean on here. But this works for the most part, and you really don't need anything else. All right, so what I like to do first is open up your CLP, get a good amount of oil on a patch. All right, I like to start with the slide. And all I'm going to do is run through her like this. Grab a fresh patch. Go ahead, hit her again. The Ruger-57 has a very interesting slide. You can see a lot of the material is cut out because it is such a small, almost like 22 round. It's not a lot of large components back here on the slide. 5.7 is a very interesting round. All right, and then what you can do actually is grab one of these again, a little bit of CLP on there, grab one of your picks, all right, and get in the crevices you can't reach with your fingers. And these polymer picks here work really, really well for that. And don't worry about using too much oil because you're going to clean a little bit of that up when you're done. get these slide rails really clean. You can see that here. It is very dirty in there. Even some flecks here of there's a little bit of brass or something in there. Already cleaning up really nicely. A lot of curves and crevices on the inside of this slide here. So you want to make sure you get as much as you can. And it's important to note that I'm actually currently holding the firing pin channel kind of downwards, where the end of the barrel would be down towards the ground. And that's because you don't want to get a lot of gunk or any kind of debris stuck in this channel under here. So if you hold it up like this and scrub on here, you might get something falling into that firing pin channel, and you really don't want that, if you can avoid it. See how that pick is really getting in there? It's really helpful. You can always use like Q-tips. A lot of people use Q-tips as well. But these picks work really well for the patches. And for the face there near the firing pin, go ahead, use that pick, get all around in there. Clean all that up there, see that? Let's take a look here. Yeah, there's still a good amount of stuff on that face there. See if I can get into there. All right, was also your extractor right here. You can see that that will actually move. If you push on it, it's nice and stiff though. Go ahead, tilt down, get under there. You can see there's a good amount of gunk underneath the extractor. Want to keep that clean as well. All right, go ahead, hit the outside. You don't have to, but it's going to help protect it. The CLP is a preventative cleaner as well, so it's good to put a light coat on here. It's going to clean it up very nicely. Come in here, see if you missed anything. Go inside again. And again, cleaning, honestly is up to you on how deep of a clean you want. This slide's looking really good. I mean, it's got a little bit of debris in there, but it's not too bad. Yeah, it's looking really good. That little, where the extractor is there, you can see it's just a small area. Like I said, I keep comparing to like a 223 or a 22, and it really is a small area. You almost actually need the picks to get in there. I'm gonna hit it one more time. I'll try this one with a little kind of harpoon hook on it, just to make sure we got that face cleaned up. It's gonna help make sure you have good reliability. You're gonna see it's just a little bit more left on there. All right, I think the slide is good for now. Set it aside. And on to your spring assembly right here and guide rod. All right, so for this, it's pretty simple. Squirt a little bit of oil, all right? And all I do is I clean the ends off a little bit. You don't really need to do too much cleaning on it. Then I go ahead and I just twist it. You can put your nail in there as well. And it's gonna clean the outside. You can see how it's kind of lined up there. It's a real simple way to clean it. If you put your nail in, you're gonna clean the top of the spring as well as the sides here. All right, and now there's a nice little coat of oil on there as well. Set that aside. And if you wanna clean your patches up, put them on the side, picks on the side as well. Now the barrel, I try to use as many patches as I can. So I just hit the barrel. That face of the barrel there is usually the dirtiest by far, on the outside at least. All right, one more fresh patch. Get the outside nice and clean. Get all these little ledges here clean. And the end of the barrel clean. So now that you have the outside of the barrel kind of cleaned up pretty well, now you're going to go on the inside. All right, so what you're going to do, start with your nylon brush. All right, so if you only have this is the best way to do it. Go ahead, put a little oil on the brush itself. Run her through. Again, look, 22 is almost the exact size as a 5.7. Run her from back to front towards where the bullet goes. Kind of follow that same channel. This is going to loosen up, and you can see it spins as it goes. It's going to loosen up everything in your grooves, in your rifling in there. All right, now normally what I do to clean is I'll wrap a patch around this right here. But the problem is, this thing is so narrow that it's hard to clean, just like an AR. It's a little bit more difficult to get a patch down there, and you can't even fit one of these down there. You might want to split this into half, possibly fourths, and then even then you can't wrap it around there. You'd actually run it through this hook here. So what I want to show you guys today is this right here. Again, there'll be a link down below for this. I've had this one for a while, brand new, and I have another one I use for ARs. But it's a very simple design. All right. Take out that tag there. You have a weighted end right here. You can see you have that same 22 caliber brush. All right. Actually, looks like you have a way to replace it too. I haven't seen that before. That's a different design. And then you have a strip right here, almost like a rope, like a nylon rope. Then you have another piece of that brass 22 brush there. And then on the end, you have a loop. All right, now the loop, you can actually put a couple of patches through if you want to, hold a patch in there, kind of similar to this if you want. Or honestly, this alone gets the job done. You already loosened everything up. So what we're gonna do, drop that weight in there. All right. So I was going to use this bore snake to clean the inside of this barrel, but at closer inspection, this barrel gets a lot more narrow. In fact, it's really thick here, but it gets even more narrow than even like a 22. And what's happening is the weight is just not heavy enough on here to make it all the way through. It gets about halfway and you can't guide it in anymore. So we're going to go ahead and do a plan B. I'll show you what that looks like. Go ahead, cut up some patches here. All right. Take your pull through. Go ahead, ride her through like that. And go ahead, guide a piece of patch through here, like so. Put a little bit of oil on there and pull her through. All right, so that's another way to do this. Obviously the bore snake would have been much more satisfying. It does such a deep clean with the multiple ways it's used as it goes down, but this works as well. Be sure to use very, very small patches on here. You saw how I cut one of those in half, and it's because otherwise you will get this stuck in there, and you do not want that. Same thing if you're working with like an AR or a 22. And luckily, that nylon, actually, yeah, this nylon brush here, cleaned it out pretty good. You can see they're coming out pretty clean, honestly, even after just a couple of these. Yeah, it's pretty clean. So all I'll do now is maybe do one more with a little bit of oil on there, just to protect it. Nice and slow. Let it spin. And now you got yourself a nice thin layer of oil in there. Keep it protected. And last but not least, you have the frame. Now this, of course, is a nice dirtied up frame, so grab a couple of fresh patches, get some oil on there, go ahead, just kind of clean her up. All right, get underneath those rails there, get on the top. Underneath the sides here. It's really not bad. I mean, it looks bad, but it cleans up really nice. Even after, I think we're almost 500 rounds in on this one without a cleaning, so from all the past reviews. And if you haven't checked those out, be sure. I've got a few different videos on this exact firearm right here. All right, then go ahead, get one more. Spray it down a little bit. Grab a pick, get in here, all the spots you couldn't get. Nice and light, you don't have to go too hard around here, you don't want to bend anything in here, otherwise you're going to have a problem with getting this back together again. But with the pick you can get down here and lightly clean up all the springs in there. You can see it still gets a little bit of grime in there. It's usually really dirty, typically right in this area here. So give it a good scrub. Use that pick. And up here as well. Underneath that rail. There you go. Again, I think she looks really nice, so you can definitely use more if you need to. All right. Wipe some of that excess off. Of course, you got on your gloves anyways, but it's good to kind of hit this as well. All right. So reassembly, clean up your space a little bit. All right, so start with your slide over here. Barrel in just like that. Spring in with the flat side facing towards the rear. You want to push it in. And what's crucial here is this has to be perfectly straight. You can see that there. Lined up. There isn't really any notches to help you, so you just want to make it nice and perfectly straight. If you see any kind of debris in here, go ahead and clean her out. If you see any extra patches that are little pieces of fabric in there or something like that, we'll put some fresh oil on here, so don't worry about that. All right, so that is pretty much ready to be reassembled. So what you want to do is take a little oil dropper like this right here, and you're going to go ahead, hit the rails, little drop right there, little drop right there, little up here, all right, a little back here. You'll see as you shoot the fire more and more, there's wear marks. All right, wherever you see wear marks, just put a little drop of oil. Up on the slide here, back here where it locks up, a little on the rails here, a little up front. All right, you can see a little bit right here. And as you're facing downward, go ahead, put a light coat right there. That way that is all protected. Reassembly, kind of the same way you disassembled. You can go ahead, put her on about that position right there. It's not a usual slide in from the front to back. You actually have two holes for these tabs to go into, like that. All right, then you're gonna go ahead, lock your slide back, push this barrel all the way to the back. Otherwise the takedown lever will not actuate. Flip the lever back up, push in, ready to go. So what you can do now if you want is typically you can take a patch. Now a lot of people actually just take the grease on their hand, just wipe it down. It's going to help protect it. But after you do that, if you don't want it to be greasy, you can go ahead, hit it with one more dry patch all the way around, and then that way it kind of evenly distributes any of the leftover oils. And you have yourself a cleaned up Ruger-57. Well, hope you guys found this cleaning of the Ruger-57 useful. If you have any questions at all, hit them in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer them. As always, subscribe to the channel, like this video. Make sure you go ahead and follow us over on Instagram, like us on Facebook for all the latest and greatest deals on the internet, and I'll see you guys in the next review.